We're continuing our conversation here on Nevada Week Extras, and a new policy system that's been implemented also is something that's new with Medicaid. And in some of the prior research we were doing for this episode, we ran into a lot of service providers that were having issues, and they found that to be one of the big struggles. Matthew, I'll start with you. What are the struggles with the new billing system? What have you run into?
Well, change is always hard. I think the changes, just tweaking the system and knowing how it works and just asking the right questions and working with billing services through Medicaid. And I think the system, some little tweaks, they don't recognize certain things, or if you try to bill something, the system will bill something else. It's just, I think these are just common things in a billing system. When you launch it such on a mass scale, you're gonna have some tweaks and changes that are needed. So what I've heard in the community, because I do have a lot of community providers that call me, is they don't know, or they're struggling. And so I always send them back to the website, or we try to reach out to somebody in
DXC is our partner, our vendor that helps with that.
Yeah, and they're really good. They help a lot in their answering questions, and they'll start working to investigating those hiccups. And if they don't know, they'll figure it out. And we just kind of work together. So it's a partnership. So I think change is always going to occur. Something's going to be struggling as we go through it.
Ingrid, is that your experience too? It's just kind of a learning curve, and you're just going to kind of get up to speed with it?
It's just one more thing. It's a struggle. Change is always difficult, adjusting, making sure that you're doing everything right, and that so that you can get payment. As I mentioned earlier, when you're running behind with some of the managed care companies in particular, not so much with Medicaid directly, it becomes an issue. So every dollar is important, and adjusting to the changes at every level. So it is quite a struggle at times, but it's kind of part of the commitment to be involved as a service provider.
And Stephen and Cody, from a policy perspective now, when we implement something like this, are there things we can do, Cody, is there things we can do at the state level to really get our service providers up to speed prior to launching something like this?
Yeah, this was a very large project. So every state has one of these systems. This was the modernization of a system that started 40 years ago. So we're very excited about this process. We spent about 3,600 hours working with providers to teach them how to use the new system. But it's a very, very large project. So the number of glitches that we've had, there have been some, has been encouraging. The good news is this new system is much more flexible, allowing us to make policy changes and make claims edits much more quickly than we used to. So those claims that do have to be adjusted won't take so long. And the exciting part for us is this made Nevada, although change is hard, but this made Nevada the first state that's completely paperless for our claims system and enrollment process. So we're excited to be first in something that's positive.
And I want to make sure I heard that correctly. 40 years of development for this?
No, the old system was
there for 40 years.
Yes,
okay.
Yeah, the old system, while it had been updated, it was almost 40 years old. So
gotcha.
As computer systems go, that's really, really old.
Correct. So the new system, I'm wondering, just from a data capture standpoint, what is the system able to do that the old system couldn't, and just understanding how service providers are actually using Medicaid?
So this new system has a provider portal. That part's been up for a while, where they can directly enter their billing claims. Previously, we went through third parties to do that, so this allows for direct entry, and I'm sure our providers could tell you in more intimate detail how that works for them.
One of the benefits I've seen from the system is the payout's a lot quicker, and you can see things a lot faster because you're not going through third-party clearinghouses. So I think in the long run, this system is going to be the elite system once we get it dialed in. I think it will put Nevada at the running place when it comes to billing, and I think the providers will fall in and they'll settle in, and everybody will, when my favorite books, Who Moved Your Cheese,
Yes.
And that's what you just got to look at, is we got to move with it, because I think in the long run it's going to help both providers and the recipients. So I've seen some good things at it. I know we still got a ways to go tweaking some things, but once it settles in, I think it's going to be a good thing.